किस्से कहानियों में रखा क्या है। एक बार एक लेखक से पूछे जाने पर कहा, चंद बूंद सियाही और एक अमर किरदार। Hello and welcome to the Third Man Cricket Show, where I welcome you to yet another exciting episode of the Off-Field Diaries. आज हमारे साथ ऐसे शख्स हैं जिनकी लेखनी ने ऐसे कई किरदारों को अमर कर दिया है through his book called The Cricket Kathas. Sir has been there, done that. Sir has been in the industry for over 25 years now, in the multiple verticals, be it writing, editing, or hosting. And that is not all. It is just the start or the platter, what you say, starter of the menu. I take immense pleasure in welcoming Mr. Mahesh Kuttyy. So, how are you, sir?
Thank you very much, Ronak, for having me on your show.
Sir, so to begin with, let me start with an interesting question. How did it all start in the sports industry? What is your relationship with sports, first of all?
Um, about a few years back, I did a lot of cricket shows for a YouTube channel by the name of HW. Right from childhood, I was very fascinated with cricket, so I would follow a lot of cricket games, matches. So I had a reasonable amount of knowledge. But then when I went to HW channel and spoke about cricket at length, I got the confidence that I could do this job pretty well. And so then COVID struck. So a group of friends started something known as the Cherry and Timber Show, where we did a lot of cricket shows just to give joy to people because they were all at home. So that was another reason. Then another friend of mine and me, we started another YouTube channel by the name of Cricket Wicket, which is a website. It's got Facebook presence. It has got a YouTube channel. So I have been involved in all this. But this idea of writing actually started when I started Cricket Wicket. We had a website, so initially I would write a lot of articles. So the writing bit came in there, and then finally the beginning of the year. In fact, on January 1st, I thought that I know a reasonable number of stories, so I thought of compiling all of them together so that people could read these stories and find immense joy. And so I started writing, and by about July, I had a reasonable amount of material. And come October, I launched the book, and I think the book is received pretty well. People who have read the book have called me up and said that they've loved the stories, because some of the stories are extremely rare, because these stories start from the Bradman era, that is 1930, and ends with Tendulkar being the youngest batsman featured in that book. So that's a long period, right? And some stories have, it's been great joy and fun, getting these stories from different mediums. All in all, I've really enjoyed writing this book.
Exactly. And I heard one line from you, Sachin Tendulkar being the youngest. So the generation that might be seeing the podcast, or they might not be familiar with all those names that are on the book. But cricket, if you love cricket, if you're a cricket lover, if you're a sports fan, then you must enjoy the book. I have ordered mine as well, and it is on the way. I'll read it and then maybe do a book review as well, because I do that on the side. But coming back to the question, sir, you said you had a journey, whole journey of it, where you explored multiple verticals and then came into writing. But when I went through your profile while researching, I saw that you started with copywriting. So how did that happen?
Well, this goes back to the early 1990s. I was out of graduation and I didn't know what to do at that point of time. So somebody suggested that advertising is a great profession to be involved in. And the only thing I could do then and now is that I can string a few good sentences. So that's how I got into writing. And I enjoyed my stint in advertising. I mean, I spent a reasonable amount of time in advertising, worked with some very big agencies, enjoyed my stint out there. But this gave me immense joy because I actually could get my writing skills as well as my cricket knowledge together. That's why this book is so dear to me. Coming back to advertising that we started off on, advertising has been the first half of my career. I mean, almost close to 20 years I was involved in advertising. I worked with some very big brands. It was real fun working in advertising. That's the only industry that I've worked. so I don't know how the other industries work, right? And then I got into cricket and into talking cricket, broadcasting, and all those things, and that's how this whole journey started. Um, but right now, I think I'm doing. I mean, I'm really enjoying this bit of writing about cricket, about old stories, and actually getting people to know, to teach them or to inform them that there were some real great cricketers in the past. I mean, you ask this generation about somebody like Gary Sobers, who was probably the greatest cricketer to have played the game, and not too many people would know his contribution to the game. So this book will give a reasonably good idea as to what Gary Sobers was. So all these things, was really enjoyable as I wrote this book.
Right, exactly. And when someone says something or does something with that passion, that transcends or that translates into ideas, and when ideas matches, like cricket fans, all of us, the book will be a delight. I'll put the link in description for all of you to check the book out, and you can go and buy out there. But let's get back into cricketing world, as we say. So World Cup is around the corner, and this book is definitely one of those sacred things which is very good to go by. Will release on the World Cup date. But what about the World Cup? How is the excitement, and how are you looking forward to it?
Well, a World Cup is a World Cup. It doesn't get bigger than this. It's T20 format. That's a format that the new generation loves to watch. So that's why you see packed stadiums even when franchise cricket is being played. Like the IPL always has packed ground. So the World Cup is going to be a very very big event. It's like a cricket carnival. The warm up matches have just started and the qualifying rounds are going on. But the big match is going to be on Sunday, India versus Pakistan. Though I always believe that we put too much of importance and too much of pressure on that match, that the result actually decides the mood in the country, right? Which I
Right,
think to some extent it is a battle, but the real war is to try and, I mean, to win the World Cup. That is the bigger picture. But we tend to lose that in the India Pakistan when the India Pakistan match is scheduled. But this is going to be a very important World Cup for India because we haven't won a World Cup for quite some time now. We haven't won a major tournament for quite some time
right,
now. The last time we won was 2013 when we won the Champions Trophy. So it's been quite a long time. We have the team to do it, but
right.
like I keep telling, T20 is a very funny format. It's a very difficult format to predict because it's such a short format that one player can literally win you a match. It doesn't require a team to win you a match. So all these factors
Right.
put together, the fun of unpredictableness in a T20 actually makes this game even more interesting.
Right, exactly. And as you mentioned that we put undue pressure or undue, the war kind of imagination of India-Pakistan game. Like the last World Cup, when we saw T20 World Cup and India lost to Pakistan, the whole country was in a mourning state. And maybe that drove what we had the performance post that, because post that our performance went down against New Zealand. And then there were meager teams which I don't want to, demean them or something like that, but those were not the competition. But the main competition was we lost in the first game itself, and that should not be that should not be around this time. We should not build that amount of undue pressure where the second match get affected because of this result. Even if we lose to Pakistan, I mean, we should be focusing on the bigger picture, the World Cup, the main mega event that you talked about, that we haven't won a mega event since 2013. So it should be there in the mind of players as well, because when we saw the pictures of Rohit Sharma and Babar Azam hugging it out, and we get a feeling that the team environment is chill and calm, but the pressure comes from outside, the 12th man or the fans. But I asked the fans from myself, and I suppose from sir as well, that don't put undue pressure. Enjoy the game. Yes, you are thrilled, you are excited. Enjoy the game, but just take it as a game and take it as sport. And when we talk about a game or sport, obviously India Pakistan ranks the best. But apart from that, any other match that you are looking up to, any other hype, like when we talk about Australia England, it comes as a mind popping event. Any other match that you're looking forward to in the World Cups?
See, all the matches in the World Cup are important because it will decide whether you will make it to the semi-finals, which is the first step that we need to look at, right? I mean, we need to first qualify for the semi-finals, then to the finals, and then the World Cup, right? So I think Rohit Sharma said a very good thing at one of the press conferences I heard. He said that we're taking every match one by one, and that it should be.
Right,
You should live in the present. There's no point in thinking about the World Cup finals. You're not even there.
right,
You think about what you are in right now, and that is the first match is against Pakistan. The second match, the third match. You try and qualify for the semi-finals, then move to the finals, and then take a crack at the World Cup. You can't be talking about winning the World Cup before the tournament begins. Your objective should be to win the World Cup. Make no mistake of it. But the most important thing is to play match by match. Play for the day. Play in the present. Be in the present. That's very important. And I think this team, under the guidance of Rahul Dravid, who's a very, a very calm influence on the team, will be focusing on that. So I believe that there will be a lot of pressure from the fans, especially in the India-Pakistan encounter. That pressure is going to be here as well as across the border, and we know what there are visuals that come from across the border of people breaking televisions and all that thing. I would request the fans to treat it like a game. I know it's very difficult to treat it like a game because it's an India-Pakistan encounter, and we don't play them very often. So there is bragging rights and all that thing. But to me, one of the most important thing is that the weather should hold good because there is a threat of rain on
yeah,
23rd, and we don't have a reserve day. So all that put together, you don't know if it becomes a 6 over match or an 8 over match. Then the favorites would start cheer. I mean, the team that wins the toss has a distinct advantage. All those things are to be taken into account. So for the time being, think that it's going to be a 20 over game. Consider it to be another match, and then hope that the Indians play to their potential and put it across Pakistan.
right. As I said, it is a great advice for the youth as well. Focus on the process, take it day by day, put the discipline in, and then all would happen as it had to happen. But going forwards on this podcast, let me understand a perspective of yours on the cricketing world that is divided into Test cricket and T20 cricket that is there to stay. What about ODI cricket, sir? Has it lost its charm, or say, what do you feel about this relevance of ODI cricket going forward?
See, ODI cricket is the only format that looks to be threatened. Test cricket will remain. The connoisseurs of the game will want to watch Test cricket. T20, the mass will love T20. 50 overs is something in between, and that is going to be a big challenge. They will have to, innovate a little bit. They might have to. I thought Sachin Tendulkar came with a damn good suggestion that break it into two innings, make it 25 overs each, which would be interesting. Because the biggest problem that the format has is the period between the 15th over and the 40th over, the middle overs. You don't have
Right.
the excitement that is required in a one-day cricket. So I would suggest that looking at two innings could be a way forward, but also we need to tweak a little bit in terms of the rules, like in terms of getting probably one player inside or one player outside or something like that. Make it a little more exciting, because if you don't do that, I think the 50 over format might really struggle, and then it might only be World Cup to World Cup will be the only time when teams will play the 50 over format, which is not good. I mean, I think every format should be played. Maybe 50 overs can be divided into two innings or whatever it is. But the biggest challenge that ICC would have is to keep the 50 over format alive.
As you say that, sir, I have a theory in mind that can we have this idea of, like currently ICC is churning out rules after rules which are favoring the batters, and they are just minimizing the ground size. Even for this World Cup, they, minimize the ground size by 5 to 10 meters of every ground. So undue advantage to the batters every now and then, and so the ODI scores goes like 350, 400 every now and then. And is that making the game more like boredom kind of thing, because earlier when it was 250 runs, it was difficult to chase, or you have to put in proper batsmanship to chase the runs. But right now, even if you score 350, it is not a daunting total. Teams fancy themselves in last 20 overs that will chase down 200. So is that a reason why ODI is losing its charm? What do you think? This is my theory that comes up, but what do you feel?
You're absolutely right, Ronak, that the game is very heavily skewed towards the batsmen. And with the quality of bats that they have, and like what you said, they're bringing in the boundary rope in, even a mishit can take the ball out of the
Right.
ground, which is not good for cricket. I mean, if there has to be a match, it has to be between the bat and the ball. If the batsman is getting some advantage, the bowlers have to be given that kind of advantage. Otherwise, it's like giving a bowling machine to a batsman saying who can hit the furthest. It might not actually
Right.
be a great idea. So, to me, yes, the rules have to be a little bit in favor of the bowler, at least if not in the first 15 overs, the last 10 overs. Maybe in the middle overs, they're given a couple of more bouncers to bowl, or maybe the wide margins taken a little away. There can be a lot of ways to get the bowler into the game, because otherwise it's just the batsman just whacking through the line, because there is no lateral movement on the pitch, because these are all beautiful batting wickets that the organizers keep, because that's what the spectators want. The spectators
Right.
want to see the ball flying into the stands. Maybe
Right.
that's good for if it's a 50 over match, it's good for 25 overs. But there is no better view in Test cricket where a fast bowler comes running in and shatters the stumps. I mean, that's a
Right.
beautiful, very beautiful sight. So the organizers, especially the ICC, the controlling committee, they need to try and find a way of how to balance bat and ball, because it can't be just a batsman's game. It can't be just fours and sixes. But the real joy of watching a one-day match is when a team scores 225 on a difficult wicket, maybe a turning wicket, and the side chasing is struggling at 115 for four or 115 for five, and then
Right.
this is, that is real cricket. I mean, that is even if it's a T20, even if it's a one-day match, they will really have to earn their runs. If that is a
Right.
scenario, I'm sure the cricket will remain for quite some time.
Exactly. As I can fondly remember that earlier we had one ball throughout the match, like for 50 overs. But right now, from both ends, you have two new balls, and the art of reverse swing, it is so rare now. We used to see great Imran Khan, Waqar Yunis, or even our Zahir Khan. They used to swing the ball or reverse swing the ball after 30 overs, and that used to create havoc again. Like on in first 10 overs, swing bowlers used to break havoc. Then after that, if the batter survive those 10 overs, then he has the chance to score runs till 30-35 overs. After that, bowlers come again in the picture, and they do the reverse swing and then get the batters out. But that was the beauty of one day cricket, which has lost to some extent. But moving forward, we have a tradition on off-field diaries that will ask you some few fun questions, few rapid fire questions, and you cannot be diplomatic in that as per perspective. So first question being, sir, one day cricket or T20 cricket, or say one day World Cup or T20 World Cup, because ODI World Cup is just around the corner.
I would go for T20 World Cup.
Right. Then who is your favorite cricketer of all time, be it batter, bowler, or all-rounder, wicket-keeper, anything?
Well, if you're talking from 1930 to now, I mean the greatest. I mean, the player who has given me greatest joy while watching has to be Sachin Tendulkar. I mean, without a doubt, because he started his career. I was in my teens at that time. Okay, and he's just a few years younger to me, and I watched his cricket career right through, and I found him to be a player who has given immense joy to thousands of spectators, or millions of spectators across the country. The amount of pressure that he was able to shoulder is incredible. So I think, yeah, the greatest cricketer for me has to be Sachin Tendulkar.
Well, he's not called God of Cricket for anything. Like, he is the God of Cricket. So going forward, full of a day full of cheesecake or a day full of biryani
Oh,
or
I
anything,
don't
any
eat
other food,
cheesecake, so I might have to opt for biryani.
or say a day full of fast food or a day full of homemade food. for one day, maybe cheat day?
That's a good question. I would love to eat the fast food, but I would settle for the home food. Don't want to really go after fast food.
Nostalgia always hits hard, especially being out from home. I understand it. So home food is always cherished. Yes, there is that. And if I had to ask, because in the previous question you mentioned about fast bowlers wrecking those wickets. So favorite fast bowler of all time, like who is the fast bowler for you?
I think Michael Holding, it would be Michael Holding because he had a beautiful bowling action. He was really
Yeah.
quick in his prime. And the greatest over that has ever been bowled in the history of Test cricket has to be that over that he bowled to Jeffrey Boycott. He was
Right.
unplayable. And then in the last ball, he got Jeffrey Boycott out. And Jeffrey Boycott had a very good technique to get somebody like Jeffrey Boycott out. I thought that was a very good over. And I think overall, as a package, I mean, there are a lot of people who would rate Malcolm Marshall to be the
Right.
greatest ever, or maybe Dennis Lilly. But to me, I think Michael Holding, because of his smooth run up and beautiful action and the pace that he generated, I think it has to be Michael Holding.
Right, right, exactly, sir. And there has been a debate about who is the current modern era GOAT. Is it Virat Kohli? Is it Babar Azam, according to you? Is it anyone else?
I'm an Indian, so for me, it will always be Virat Kohli. See, it's
Right,
difficult to actually compare Virat Kohli to with Babar Azam because Virat Kohli has scored the runs. He's reached a point. Babar Azam is still in the process, right? He
right,
is
sir.
playing the way Virat was batting in 2016 to 2018 when Virat was almost unbeatable. I mean, he was invincible. He would every time he picked up a bat, he would score a century. So Babar Azam is going through it right now. The only time we should compare is when both of them end their career and then take a look at the numbers.
Right, sir. So, final question of the rapid fire round: your top four cricketers in the modern era. Who would you put in the four names? Be it bowler, batter, anyone.
I mean, you're talking modern era means from when to when? Currently playing or
Currently playing, right, sir?
currently playing. Uh, Virat Kohli would definitely be one.
For sure.
You want Indians or you want across the world?
Across the world, anything you like, sir.
Okay, so that will be one. The second would be Josh Butler. I like
Right.
Josh Butler a lot. Um,
Yeah.
then I would go to Australia and I would pick up somebody like Mitchell Starc. I think Starc is a damn good bowler. And the good thing
Left.
about Starc is he keeps his country's priority over franchise cricket. He doesn't come
Absolutely.
and play IPL just because he wants to be well prepared to represent Australia. And I think that's a damn good thing for him to have done.
Yeah.
And the fourth one, if you look at probably, if I would look at England, Australia, New Zealand, it has to be Kane Williams. I mean, I think he was
Okay.
fabulous.
Kane Williamson. And as you said about Mitchell Stark, yes, he gave a statement before the IPL, before the World Cup, that he won't be part of IPL or any franchisee leagues because he has to prepare for the World Cup. So that statement coming out officially, because other players, if they don't take a part, they don't give a statement officially. They say that they have a niggle or something like that. They are rehabilitating. But Mitchell Stark straight forward put it out that I'm preparing for the World Cup for my country and I won't be taking a part in any of this event.
Very
So
bold
that
statement.
takes, yeah, that takes guts and is a very bold statement in to make. So he definitely tops the chart over there. So this was the rapid fire round, guys, and let's move on to the last segment where we talk about education, talk about if someone has to get into this field, or say someone is taking up writing. So all this segment will be covered in this part of the podcast where we tend to focus on what you will get through this podcast, what you will learn through this podcast. Although the whole podcast has been a learning experience for me, at least. I don't know about you guys. You will hear the podcast and decide for yourself. Put in the comment section that what do you feel about the podcast and the interaction that we had. But currently, moving forward in the last segment of this podcast, when you started your career in the sports industry, what was the most difficult thing that was, or you strike in your mind that this is maybe not for me, or this is very hard, this is very tough? What was that one thing, or say multiple things that conjured into one thing?
See, in any field or in any walk of life, there will be certain days when you will feel that this is not for me. But to be able to just hang on there is the most important thing for you to succeed. Because that, whether it's cricket, I mean, even a batsman, there will be a time when he may not be timing the ball, he'll be hitting it straight to the field, he'll be getting out in freakish manner, but he should not give up, because after every good time there will be a bad time, and after every bad time there will be a good time. I mean, that is the law of nature. So you need to respect that, and that's how you should go ahead. For me, as far as writing was concerned, writing actually from a very young age, maybe from right from school, I was pretty good at writing. So I had that quality of writing skills was there. And then, because I was writing something that I was so close to, so passionately involved, that writing a book on cricket was a natural extension. But if somebody wants to get into writing, first of all, you need to believe in yourself that you should be able to write out a book. It's tough. It's not easy, because you need to do research on that. You need to verify facts. You need to talk to people. Most important thing is to have a set of support system around you, which is your family and friends, because they play a huge role. Because when you're down certain days, they should be the people who should push you and tell you, go for it, you are good enough to do it. So once you identify that, it should not be a problem. But the basic skill of writing should be there for you before you embark on a journey of writing.
Right, exactly. And you answered the next question as well. So let me get into this answer of yours. You said about the process and the support system that you require to get going, to push yourself, or say someone has in your backside your support, that he pushes you back, that no, you have to keep going, you have to keep, or you keep yourself motivating because of them. As MS Dhoni once famously said that I stay calm because I know that there is one person in my family that will always look me the same way, whether I win or lose. It is his job.
Respect.
So yeah, yeah. So MS Dhoni, that statement made a stir in the industry, that he said that the process should be there. You should not be you should not focus about the results. But most of us, because you said about the focus, the process, the not to give up, but results do matter. Sometimes it comes back into your head, and it pinches you, it nudges you, that you have to care about the results. So how does results impact you as a person on any project that you handle, or any project that you wish to choose for?
There is nobody in this world who is not bothered about the result, whether you are a cricketer, whether you are a film star, whether you are a writer, because you are anxious to know what will be the outcome of the assignment that you have undertaken. Now, like what Dhoni said, there is anxiety in his mind, but his mind is able to control that anxiety, and that is important, right? You should not allow your mind to be dictated by the anxiety. Once your mind is dictated by the anxiety, then you start making mistakes. So of course, I mean, every project that I undertake, I want to know whether it's good or not, okay, whether it will succeed or not. The result does matter. Everybody will, for everybody the result would matter. But when you're doing it, you don't think about the result. You try hard and concentrate and be in the present. Of course your mind will wander. Nobody's got control over the mind all the time, right? I mean, it's the most difficult thing for anybody. So but when you're writing, then focus completely on that work, and then after that you can think about how to make it successful, whether you've done doing the right thing. My belief is that if you do your processes well, 8 out of 10 times you will succeed. Okay, there will be the
Right.
odd failure even when you do the process well, that you will have to give it to luck. There is a lot of luck that is involved into it, into every assignment. I mean, the I always believe that there will be two batsmen, equally talented, equally good, but there's only one batsman that make it to the Indian team. That is because of
Right.
luck. To be at the right place at the right time with the right people, very important. So all these things make you a successful person or not.
Right. As Sir put it out nicely, and let me sum it up the advice that Sir gave in this answer, that you will have anxiety, you will have the fear of result, you will have the consequences in your mind, that what will happen if it doesn't happen. But you have to focus on the present and what is in your control, what you can control. Controllables should be controlled, and rest, it will happen as it has to happen. So again, you might call me an MS Dhoni fan, but again, an anecdote from his one of interviews, that he said, if you have studied for the exams for the past 1 year, that one day won't matter. If you haven't studied for the exam for the whole year, again that one day won't matter before the exam. So it
Very
is
true.
just like that. If you have focused on the process, if you have focused on the training, on the discipline, then the final result would be in your mind, but it won't scare you. Last and the final question for the day, sir. Your advice to any upcoming, media person, any writer, any sports person, any final words of wisdom before we wrap this up?
Enjoy whatever you're doing. You may be in love with football. Take up football writing. Any sport, see, your chances of succeeding is extremely high when you enjoy doing something. Don't consider that to be a job. Once you think it's a job, then you don't actually enjoy. Do whatever you enjoy. I mean, if you love to write stories, write a story. If you think that you're good enough to write a movie, write a movie. Write what actually makes you feel happy, because if you are in that zone, the chances of you coming out with a good piece of work is extremely high. And just adding to what you said in the previous question is, always try to control things which are in your control. Don't try to get into things which are not in your control. So
Right.
if you enjoy something, do that. If you don't enjoy it, don't force yourself into that. If you can do some work which is also your hobby, I mean, and you're getting paid for it, nothing like it. So my advice to youngsters is, whatever you're doing, enjoy doing it.
Yeah, enjoy what you like, and you won't have to worry about your work any day of your life. So that's it from our side. I had great fun and great learning experience from this podcast. I hope you had a little bit of fun too, sir, in this podcast.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and hope you like this conversation and had some learning experience as well. For much more interesting conversation, or say stories, anecdotes, stories, podcast, or say maybe, as I said in the start, Amar Kirdar, if you want to hear about them, or say study about them, or say read about them, you have the book with you. You have the resources with you. Sir has made that possible. Cricket Kathas is out there in the market on Amazon and Flipkart. I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out for yourself. Let's wrap this up. So this is Ronakumar Kedia along with Mahesh Kuttyy, sir. Take care. Bye bye. And we the Third Man Cricket Show will keep you providing all this content forever, as long as possible, as long as I'm alive, but at least. So do like, comment, share, subscribe on the channel, and do check out Sir's book, The Cricket Kathas. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Signing off from the
Thank you,
Third Man
Ronald.
Cricket.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.